Welcome back to I Love Gossip, the home of everything dramatic, messy, and impossible to ignore in the entertainment world. Before we get into today's wild breakdown, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to help this channel grow. Seriously, every tap counts and lets me keep bringing you the hottest stories the internet refuses to stop talking about. The hip-hop world has been buzzing non-stop, and fans swear something major is brewing behind the scenes. Every timeline, every comment section, every podcast, they're all talking about one thing. 50 Cent calling out what he believes might be Jay-Z's quiet strategic moves involving Nicki Minaj, and it has the whole industry watching like it's a championship game. People aren't claiming anybody broke any laws or crossed any dangerous lines, but they are saying the industry politics look intense, and that's exactly what has fans losing their minds. Before anything else, let's make something clear. Nobody here is accusing Jay-Z or 50 Cent of wrongdoing. These are industry power plays, public opinions, and fan-driven speculation. Hip-hop has always been full of strategy, alliances, business decisions, and moves that get people talking, and this moment is no different. But when 50 Cent stepped in, the conversation flipped instantly. He's always been the one artist who refuses to keep quiet. And once he jumps into a topic, the entire internet rushes to see who he's talking about and why. And this time, people swear he's signaling that Jay-Z might be making quiet decisions behind the scenes. And Nicki Minaj is at the center of the conversation. Fans online started asking whether there's some industry tension happening out of view. Not personal drama, not dangerous beef, just those silent chess moves that happen at executive tables, award show meetings, festival negotiations, and corporate strategy sessions. You know how the entertainment world works. The audience sees the performances, but the real battles happen backstage where the major deals get signed. Nicki Minaj has always been one of the most influential artists in music, and anytime her name connects to another major figure, especially someone as powerful as Jay-Z, the conversation goes through the roof. This isn't new. Fans have been analyzing this dynamic for years, wondering whether Jay-Z's massive influence in festivals, streaming partnerships, and industry boards sometimes crosses paths with Nicki's empire. Nobody's calling it beef. People are calling it competition, influence, and strategic positioning. So when 50 Cent chimed in, fans acted like he just poured gasoline on a fire already blazing. The moment 50 even hinted at the situation, social media went into detective mode instantly. People started pulling up old interviews, festival lineups, award show moments, business partnerships, anything they could find that might show whether Jay-Z and Nicki Minaj were moving in different directions behind the scenes. Nothing illegal, nothing shady, just industry motion that fans love to exaggerate. And you already know how fast the internet builds a whole narrative from one subtle moment. Someone found a clip from a past event where Jay-Z was working on a major project with other artists, and fans debated whether Nicki was supposed to be part of it. Others pointed out that Nicki has built her own lane and never needed to be tied to anybody's corporate system. That kind of independence always sparks theories because strong personalities always create strong reactions. Then someone pulled up old footage of 50 Cent describing how the entertainment world sometimes operates quietly, and fans connected it straight to Jay-Z. Even though 50 never said his name, fans treated it like a coded signal. That's when everything exploded again. Jay-Z is known for sharp strategy, long-term vision, and careful planning. So when fans think he's making certain decisions that overlap with Nicki's world, tour ideas, business partnerships, performance lineups, people instantly assume there's something deeper going on, even when it's simply business. Nicki Minaj, on the other hand, moves with full independence and confidence, and that alone creates conversations. Whenever two major forces move at the same time, people assume a collision, even if nothing is happening behind the scenes. And just when everyone thought the situation couldn't get any more chaotic, the fan theories started multiplying like wildfire. People weren't just reading into 50 Cent's posts anymore. They were digging through years of hip-hop history, looking for old interviews, forgotten collaborations, tiny side comments, anything they could twist into a new piece of the puzzle. It felt like the whole culture turned into detectives overnight, each person convinced they had the missing piece nobody else noticed. Some fans swore they could feel the energy shifting between these major stars, even though none of them said a single word publicly. Others claimed the industry was going through a silent power shuffle, something subtle that only becomes obvious in moments like this, when big names accidentally collide in the center of attention. Again, this is just online imagination going wild, nothing harmful, nothing proven. But the internet doesn't need evidence to create a full storyline. And as more people chimed in, the conversation took on this intense, almost cinematic vibe. You had people breaking down facial expressions from 5-year-old award shows like they were reading body language for a living. Others went into deep analysis mode, examining which artists were linked to which companies, streaming platforms, festival partnerships, even sponsorship deals. All of it tied back into the theory that something major, something powerful, was shifting behind the scenes. What made everything even crazier was that the more silent Jay-Z and Nicki Minaj stayed, the louder the audience got. Fans kept saying this silence was too perfect, too timed, too aligned, even though it was probably just two busy legends minding their business. But once the internet decides it wants a story, it digs until it finds one, even if it's built entirely out of passion and speculation. Then the bloggers jumped in. Entire podcast episodes were getting recorded about this situation. People were giving hour-long breakdowns, creating theories, comparing careers, analyzing influence, and every single time they mentioned 50 Cent's cryptic comment, their views skyrocketed. Because that one line, "Some moves ain't loud, but they shake the whole room," had turned into a cultural earthquake. That line became the heartbeat of a rumor storm nobody saw coming. Fans quoted it on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, everywhere. Some even edited the quote over dramatic music like it was the intro to a documentary about industry secrets. People love a good mystery, and 50 had handed them a legendary one without even meaning to. Meanwhile, Nicki Minaj's fans doubled down harder than ever. They treated the situation like a battle of respect, a moment to remind everyone why she's one of the most dominant artists in music history. They weren't worried, they weren't scared, they were fired up. They said Nicki has survived every wave of industry changes, every shift in power, every challenge thrown at her, and she always came out shining. Jay-Z's supporters, on the other hand, stayed calm and steady. They said Jay-Z doesn't need to speak. His silence is the message. They said he's an executive, a mogul, a strategist. He moves in ways regular fans can't decode. They argued that Jay-Z is always planning years ahead, and that he would never get involved in petty drama anyway. All of that emotional energy, all of these clashing viewpoints, it created one of the most intense online showdowns in recent memory. 3 giant fan bases, all passionate, all loud, all convinced they were seeing something big unfold right in front of them. By this point, even people who weren't hip-hop fans were tuning in just to see what would happen next. It became bigger than music. It became a moment of pure culture where fans, creators, bloggers, reactors, and influencers got pulled into the same conversation without even trying. And in the middle of all this noise, you had 50 Cent, one of the most unpredictable voices in entertainment, dropping cryptic lines like he was narrating a movie. No names, no accusations, no specifics, just energy, pure energy. The kind of energy that gets the internet spinning in circles trying to figure out the hidden message. That's when it hit fans. This moment wasn't about facts. It wasn't about conflict. It wasn't about beef. It wasn't about anything harmful. It was about power. It was about influence. It was about 3 giants standing in their own lanes, shaping the culture without even speaking. And whether they meant to or not, their silence, their timing, their moves, real or imagined, turned into a global conversation that nobody was prepared for. One thing's for sure, this story has already earned its place in hip-hop history. People will be talking about this moment for years. The theories, the drama, the memes, the reactions, the breakdowns, all sparked by a single wave of online momentum. And here on I Love Gossip, we're locked in. Every post, every cryptic caption, every fan reaction, we're watching it all. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe so you never miss the next twist, because trust me, the way these legends move, the next shockwave could drop at any moment.